In this video, we're going to talk about how I gained over 6,000 followers within 21 days based off of one viral post that hit 1 million views, and how this strategy applies to my other posts and you can use it as well. Before we dive in, let me just roll the clip real quick of the post that went viral so you guys can get an idea. And if you want to watch the full video, I'll make sure to link it down below. So let's roll it.
Hey, here's a 15-second prayer over your piece. When we're done here, share this prayer with somebody else so we can pray over their piece as well.
All right, so you guys saw that. I'll make sure to link it down below. The first one on the list, you're not gonna like it because I didn't like it. And it's something I've been hearing from a lot of people. Now, the reason why I didn't like it is because they didn't really break it down for me, nor did I understand how it actually would work. So the first one is gonna be consistency. Consistency equals hard work. It means that you have to show up. It means that you have to actually put work out there quite frequently. Now, consistency means different for a lot of people. That can mean 2 times a day, once a day, a few times a week. But what really applies to consistency is 2 main factors, and I'm gonna break those down for you. Number 1, it's you. You gotta be consistent because it actually builds on your skill set and your craft. What I mean by that is you have to start pushing out content to understand what your audience likes. But once you start understanding what they like, you then alter your content to do that, favor the audience, because the second part of it is important to the first part. Once you start perfecting your craft, instead of just pushing out content that is thoughtless, which you're gonna get the same results back, is gonna be the algorithm. And then before you click out of this video because you heard that word, I know. The thing is though, a lot of these gurus don't break down what that means. You see, the algorithm favors your new content as soon as you push it out. Once you push it out, it's kind of like a host with a new guest to the party. It wants to see how you interact with other guests. If other guests are favoring you, it's gonna introduce you to more guests. Same thing with the algorithm. As soon as you push out the content, if it's seeing that a lot of engagement is happening between your audience and the post, it's gonna wanna push it out more, because then it's saying, oh, the audience is staying on the platform, it's watching the content, maybe there'll be other people that will do the same. So that's why it's so important that you're consistent, so that way you perfect your craft, what your audience is seeking, and then that way it plays into the favor of the algorithm, and that's how you outsmart the algorithm. But there's a few more that you can add to it that really upplay it, and we're gonna dive into that right now. Number 2, I think, might be the secret sauce to it all, and it's being relatable. Your content needs to be relatable, not just you, but what you're pushing out. I've had a few videos that just came to mind that I figured, you know, a few ladies might relate to, and you'd be surprised how it just pops off. It's not even edited beautifully, it's not photographed in a beautiful way. It was just something I had on my phone, and what really mattered was actually the text behind it that really brought the value. And a lot of people ended up just reposting it, resharing it, and that's how it goes viral, is because people can relate to your content and want to send that to somebody else because they can share that as well. And so that's why I feel that is the secret sauce to it all, because people want to have that connection. And I think that's what our social media is all about, is connecting to people. And so relating to your problems, to your advice, to your testimonies, whatever it is. In this case of my post, it was a prayer, and a prayer that was meant for that person, but they also were able to share it out. Some of the things that are in my post I'm gonna talk about into tip 3 that really made it blow up. Number 3, it's kind of like a twofold. It's engagement and CTA, which is call to action. You really want a little bit of both, or one or the other at the very least. So in my post, for example, I said 2 things. I told them to put an amen in the comment section below if they received the prayer. And then my second call to action was to send it to a friend who also might need the prayer. And when you incorporate that, whether it's in a text form, in the caption, or even better in the video, it prompts the person to then send it out. Going back to number 1, that consistency part of it with the algorithm, that's where the algorithm will say, oh wow, this content is not only being viewed by people, but they're pushing it out to other people. Let us boost that a little bit more to other levels of visibility. You're probably thinking, well, my content is not engaging. How do I get people to engage with it? It could be as simple as you being a comedian and you're putting up something funny. You want something that, again, has a relatable hook to it and that you would want people to see and share. That's an example. Here's another one. You could be preparing for the fall and doing some early autumn decorating around the house. You could leave in the caption or in the video and say, leave a fall emoji if you're excited for the fall as I am. Those are ways of engagement and call to actions. Trends is number 4, and it's so important because as a marketer, it's always top of mind. You always want to make sure that you're pushing out content that is relative to what your audience is also trying to seek out. So whatever trends are happening, whether it's music or content related, you really want to jump into it. The thing is though, when it came to music or let's say a voiceover like I had with my post, you want to make sure that it's under 100 uses. And I'll show you right now what I mean by that. So check this out. See how this song or this voiceover has under 100 uses? That's important because when you go down to this list right here, this is what people look at. When they like a song or they see something that's trending, they usually click on it and then see what other content people have used for it. And that is the ultimate trick that you want. It's not because it's really gets on people's news feeds, yes, but really it starts out here first and foremost. People like a video or content that is pushed out that's trending. They'll go to that voiceover song and see what other people have posted as well. And that is really ultimately what you want to do is when you save it for 24 hours and see how those numbers double. If they double after 24 hours when you saved it, you want to use that because that's going to be something that's super trendy. Another tip for trends that I used for my personal page, aside from my Ink and Honey, was there was some content that was trending with a song specifically. And you guys have probably seen that before where it pairs together perfectly and people will reuse it or recycle that same kind of content with the song. Well, I didn't like the song, but I liked the content. So I just repurposed the content and used another trending song and ended up blowing up so much faster than the original content creator with their song and their content. So that is just something to keep in mind, that ultimately you can alter a trend, but you just got to do it right because you got to pick which piece of that trend is the most important part. Another great way to kind of be ahead of the curve when it comes to trends, aside from just looking at what's already out there, is going to your content creators that you enjoy, their content, and if you're creating something similar, and just kind of see what the comments are in their section and see if people are enjoying it or are actively engaged in it, because if they are, that means that they like it too and want to see more of it. I promise you, with the consistency, with the relatability, with the engagement, the call to actions, and then the trends, you're formulating this perfect calculation for the algorithm to really push your content out and it to go viral. Number 5 is huge because a lot of people don't talk about it, and if they do, you're not listening, because this is what is really going to be great for when you post that first viral video and then continue to want to do more. This is where this comes in. So it's number 5 is going to be community. When you are building out your content and being consistent and understanding what is relatable and understanding what is trending and how to get your audience engaged on this post, you have to keep them in mind. What do they want to see, right? And then when you figure that out and they keep following you and they're going to keep on pushing your content, you're going to see the results of all your posts becoming viral. Because now that you're applying the first 4 tips and strategy, number 5 is just building off of it. You gotta have retention within your followership, because when you have retention, they're the ones that are gonna populate more for you. And then it's gonna supersede into all your other platforms if that's what you're interested in. And so I think community is super important when it comes to your content, because when you wanna go viral, they're gonna be the ones that are gonna be the first ones to push it out for you. So work off of the audience that you have, and then how can you build on more of that? Let me know if you learned anything from this video, or if you end up applying any of this to your strategy. I would love to know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I have so much more tips and tricks coming your way. Just stay tuned for the next video.